So this is a new series called Know Before You Go. And of course, what I want to do this time, well, I like playlists on my YouTube channel, but I want to see how this one works. So my goal is to kind of give weekly tips on having a successful adventure out in nature. And of course, you know where I am. And if we do a scan, I'm back in, this is Broad Bay. And of course, I'm here at First Landing State Park. So today's going to be the first of a series of Know Before You Go. And this is really about tricks and tips and hacks to make sure that you have a successful adventure. So today I'm going to give you 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I hope you enjoy the way this particular video goes, because I have something extra in mind. I'm going to take you on my trip, but in a very special way. So join me, and I'll see you for tip number 1. So in part of today's video content, I want to make sure that everybody is aware that before you go out, become familiar with where you're going. And of course, you know that my go-to hike on Sundays is First Landing State Park. But it's important to know your trail. And very clearly, safety. So there's a wildlife and safety. And of course, I could get all of this information online. But the other important thing is the rules and etiquette. So, and I like how it says be courteous. You don't always get that in a public situation, but for right now, let's keep that top of mind. All right, let's go on the adventure. Most parks are going to have an entry point. I'm sure all parks have an entry point where you may have to pay to park and whatnot. Here at First Landing, the true visitor center is across the street. I'm not going to go there, but really at this point, what we're looking for is right here. Wow. Looking for a map. Most parks at this point, you can print off a PDF version, but there's also, trying to get this centered. There's also, should be printable versions at the park itself. I'd probably pull. Now we're going back on trail. Let's see if I could switch. I probably pull one of these printed maps every time I come here. Oh, and here comes the group. This is going to be fun. Okay, so here at First Landing, early, when I get here early, and so early for me is at least a 7 o'clock start. And there are groups of people that come out here just to do their morning run. And so it's really neat how there are certain groups that come out in the morning and there are certain groups that come out mid-morning. I mean, when we're talking early morning, we're talking now. Different age groups. There's actually, every once in a while, there's a reserve unit, Army Reserve unit that comes out here. So, and I think they do their training like the second or third Sunday. They'll come out here in full uniform, camouflage like me, and full pack, and do about 3 or 4 or 5 miles on the run. And then there's in Virginia Beach, there are groups of teenagers who run cross country. So they run this, they run the trail as well. So it's always good to know, if you can, how busy the park is going to be at any given time. So let's continue. One last thing with Know Before You Go, before I move on to tip number 2. Each trail usually has a mile marker or a series of mile markers to tell you how far they go. And most designated trails have a trail marker, color coded. On to tip number 2. Tip number 2, while I'm out here and you can see behind me, that's Broad Bay. Again, beautiful, beautiful area. Nice and peaceful today too, not too many people out. It's what, February 9th? Tip number 2, first aid. And so many people kind of overlook this. Even on I'm just adjusting my pack here, even on a simple couple mile hike, even a small day pack would be a good idea. Now y'all know that I'm carrying 45 pounds on my back, but I'm in training. But first aid goes beyond the basic, bandages and cortisone cream. And so if you're taking medications, or if you have an emergency medication that you should carry with you like I do, I'm going to show you real quick. And so I always carry this. So this is my inhaler. I am an asthmatic. And so I'll just bring this up for out here. So I always carry my emergency inhaler all the time, wherever I'm at. And additionally, I do carry this. And so I wear camouflage pants as a standard. So I wear camouflage pants as a standard, and you can see all military, even my army jacket. My fellow Marines, do not get mad, this is an army jacket. So icy hot in case you pull something, you strain something, always important. I do have ibuprofen in the sack, but whatever you need, just think beyond the basic first aid, because you never know. It's easy out here to trip over something, lots of tree roots or anything on the ground. I'm here at First Landing, so we do have vipers out here. I have not encountered one yet, so rattlesnakes and such. We do have other snakes, and but they're have to be cautious with the vipers. I know that the AT is going to have its own challenges, but at the very least, make sure that you are prepared for just about anything. Not to be paranoid, just prepared. So know before you go, and this is lesson number 3. Know your food. And so I always carry some trail mix. I got some tropical trail mix. I got some granola bars. I got some standard trail mix. And today, after 22 miles, a lot of that had to help. But actually, today's lunch meal was beef stew by Dinty Moore. And so more on know before you go, how to handle and store your food. So let me go back to the studio. I'm going to show you my bear vault. So I switched back to my studio, and now I want to show you how to use a bear vault to store your food in. So many of us, thru hikers, backpackers, even if it's a day hike, it's always good to have your food somewhere safe. So I've been using this is my bear vault, on all of my hikes as I train for the Appalachian Trail. Now I've been using this for the past year. This I got at REI Co-op here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. This is about it's not the small size, it's not the big size. I forget if there's a 4th size, so this is somewhere in the middle. This is supposed to hold 4 to 5, maybe 6 days of food, if packed appropriately. I'll tell you what, it took me a while to figure out how to work this. So right here, there are 2 knobs that have to cross over this other knob. I don't have any other word for it. So I have a pass that gets me into all national state parks for free, or actually national parks for free. So I stick this in between the two knobs, and if I turn correctly, see if I can do that. I can't even get this to turn. Hold on. There we go. So let's see if I can turn this. There we go. You got to get it so that it doesn't get stuck. That's why it's a bear vault. Lid comes off. Now right now, I got my toothbrush and my toothpaste in here, but just easily all my other food. So there's my trail mix, tropical fruit trail mix, mountain trail mix with peanuts, my granola bars, extra trail mix, and finally spoon and fork. And so I've got my beef jerky downstairs. I'm learning to make beef jerky with my dehydrator, so lots of good stuff. So this is my bear vault. Let's close it up. And see if it works. Yep, can't get into it now. All right, so know before you go, keep your food safe, and we're almost there. I'll see you in a bit. Hey, welcome back everybody. Know before you go, tip number 4. Write a list. Write a list of all the things that you're going to bring with you on your day trip, overnight trip, multi-night trip, or through hike. So it's always good to plan. So not only are you planning the trail, but you're planning your gear. And so what I plan every time, my tent. This is a military grade tent, one-man tent, case, tent, ground sheet, poles, stakes, all in one place. And test it. You set it up before you go. Set it up a couple times, making sure you know how it works. I always keep the tag on it. If you're an older guy like me, trekking poles always come in handy. If you know you're going to be in backcountry and there are no porta-johns, bring your shovel. I always carry rain gear. This is my top. I keep my bottom in here, not this bottom, my rain pants. And what I've found, because it's been raining lately out here, is this rain gear, top, bottom, only goes so far. I'm going to get edit that part out. I need a poncho to cover over the pack as well as me, so that's going to work well. My sleeping bag is already in here. And of course, as you know, if you're going to get yourself clean, you need a washcloth, towel, and extra clothes as well. And so make your list, and like Santa Claus, check it twice and make sure that you are carrying what you need to carry because you've planned your trip out. So with that, know before you go, there's one more tip, and I'll see you soon. So welcome back everybody. This is Know Before You Go. This is tip number 5. Just know your pack. So let's take a look at my new Terminator Outlook pack, which I totally love. Just like any pack, it has top access, so I can immediately get to my bare vault. But it also has front access. So even though this is one big storage area, it is divided. So I've got my bare vault here. I've got my sleeping bag here. And down here, I can access the lower portion. You know, you can see the bottom of my sleeping bag, but I also have room for extra clothes. This is another storage compartment at the very base. It's on the outer part of the pack. So if I could put smaller things in there, like your day's food or some snacks or first aid kit, all good. Now up here, if I zip this up, I have another storage pack a bit bigger, so easily some other drinks, or you can put your cooking gear here. So if you're carrying a stove or something, you're carrying your frying pan or anything like that, all good. On the side, there's actually two side wells. So one's close to the pack and one is on the outside. Now this is where I actually carry my water. So I've got 2 liters of water on one side, and I've got 2 liters of water on the other side. And I actually also carry my trekking poles in here as well. And so everything really fits comfortably in this pack. Here's a side view. And on the top, of course, all the smaller stuff that you need: bug spray, bear spray, immediate first aid, band-aids and such. So it's good to be comfortable and know your pack, know where your stuff is at, so you know how to get access to it, especially your first aid and any, snacks along the way, always good. One more, I have a bonus, and I'll see you in just a bit. All right, so we have taken a look at Know Before You Go, 5 tips, know the trail, be prepared for anything, so be safe, know your food, know your gear, know your pack. I'm going to give you one more tip. Now, as you know, I'm training for the Appalachian Trail Thru Hike 2026, and so I'm a disabled veteran, Marine veteran, and I probably should have learned this a long time ago, but only recently has the issue of hydration, drinking lots of water, has become top of mind. And so I typically, or historically, just guzzle water down whenever I feel thirsty. And I was told that's not the best way to stay hydrated. And so whether you're sitting at a desk all day long or hiking 20 plus miles a day, the best way to stay hydrated is to drink a little bit throughout the day. So sip and not gulp, which is new to me. And what I have found on the trail is that it actually does work better. And The reason for this is the body can only consume so much liquid, so much water at any one time. If I were to guzzle this down, just a typical standard, what is this? 16.9 fluid ounces. This is what you need to drink, lots of these. If I were just to down this right now, and not because of my age, but simply because of how the body works, I would be peeing this out within the next 30 minutes or so. But if I were to take, small sips throughout the hours, the body is going to retain that hydration a whole lot better, and it will stay hydrated more efficiently. So, bonus tip for my first Know Before You Go video is hydrate appropriately. Sip water throughout the day. Don't guzzle it when you just feel thirsty. And this way your body will stay hydrated longer. So, know before you go and have fun on your trip. Y'all take care.